What was your, shouldn't have watched this movie? Sausage Party, but mostly because it was seen with family. I read Requiem for a Dream. The movie came out. I said, why would anyone watch this movie? It's horrific and will give you a bad feeling for a week or so. But, Ellen Burstyn's performance is amazing. You should just watch it. You already know what happens. Me? Very well then, it can't be any worse than the book. The Hills Have Eyes 2006. Edited for year. Signs. Seen it in theaters. Dropped off my date and had to drive through country cornfields for half an hour. To this day that movie freaks me out. The Ring. Watched it as a kid and had nightmares for years, had to sleep with the lights until college and had sleep paralysis where every time the girl from the movie would scream next to me. As a kid, Disney's Snow White. I had nightmares about the witch for years. Watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind a few weeks after a hugely painful breakup. This is not the way. Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was the worst reboot ever made and I can't stand a minute without physically cringing. A Serbian film. Grave of the Fireflies. My parents' homemade sex tape. Finding Nemo, my ass pouting. There's something wrong with Aunt Diane. The one victim's relative said it perfectly when she said, paraphrasing here, she could forgive Diane, but her husband she is still working on. Edit. It shows the lengths a family goes to deny and excuse the behavior of a woman who drove drunk and high and killed not only herself, but her daughter, 3 nieces, and 3 strangers in another car. Hostel. Fucking Hostel. When I was 13 my dad took me to the movie theater. We started watching the movie The General's Daughter with John Travolta. There is a horrifying rape scene with some super intense cinematography. During that scene I pleaded to my dad to leave. We did. We then bought tickets to The Matrix, which I fucking loved. The Road. That movie will crush your soul. The Men Behind the Sun is one of the rare movies that legit disturbed me. That one scene. If you've seen it, then you know. The casualness of it, the suddenness of it, the seeing it coming but knowing that nothing will happen to stop it. That one scene is the only scene from any movie that still haunts me to this day. 28 years after first seeing the movie. Edit. Also, if you watch this movie, know that the actual events were even worse and more disturbing than the film shows. If you're watching it for the first time this will not seem possible, but know that reality was much worse and involved hundreds of children. Cats, except I turned it off within 2 minutes, still regret it. Human Centipede. Does 2 girls 1 cup count? Coraline back then. Pan's Labyrinth back then. It's not a kids movie. Hereditary. Possibly Watership Down. I was too young and had no idea it wasn't a family animation. Shit scarred me inside, I'm sure. The song still makes me cry. The Cell, from around 2000. I watched it in an old theater. It messed me up for a while. Midsommar. It's a well-directed and acted film, but the whole film is very unsettling to the point I questioned why I went to watch the film. It's different from standard horror since there's not really any scare scenes, it's more about bringing a feeling of mental disturbance. I think it does a great job of communicating the feeling of what it's like to have a psychotic episode or a bad hallucinogenic trip. It was called Dumplings. I can't remember if it was in a collection of short films or if it was a whole movie in itself, but it was goddamn traumatic. 50 Shades of Grey. When I was 7 years old, my parents wanted to watch The Gremlins. They sent me to bed and told me I am not allowed to come to the living room because they want to watch a scary movie. Of course that made me curious and I sneaked into the living room. Right as the mutated gremlins attacked the elevator. I was so scared. For weeks I didn't want to use the elevator and preferred to use the stairs. I learned my lesson and never sneaked into the living room again. Denzel Washington movie, Fallen. Terrified me for years. Grandma died. My bro decided to take me to the movies to cheer me up. We went to see Pixar's Coco. Dear Zachary. If you've seen it, you know. Edit. Not really a spoiler, but there's a part where the documentarian voiceover gets choked up as he's talking and it ruins me. Hachi. A Dog's Tale. Not a bad movie, quite the opposite in fact, but I cry every single fucking time. Dragon Ball Evolution. The Girl Next Door, not the movie about the porn star. Cloverfield Paradox. The most cruel destruction of a movie universe I've ever seen, on par with Game of Thrones' final season. Tusk. Weird as fuck. 50 Shades of Grey. The Dark Crystal. I was easily scared by those uncanny valley-looking puppets as a kid, and even now they make me feel so uneasy that I kinda enter semi-fight or flight when I see it. The bird puppets were super cool looking. Would have enjoyed the movie so much more if it was just them. Deliverance. I did not know the plot. Oh look, 3 buddies going on a camping trip, what could possibly go wrong? Bridge to Terabithia. Threads for sure. Don't watch Uncut Gems if you have anxiety. Kids. Freddy got fingered. I like a good trainwreck, but Tom Green owes me an hour and a half of my life back. Requiem for a Dream. Dead Girl. A couple of teenage boys find a zombie chick strapped to a gurney in the basement of an abandoned insane asylum, so naturally one of them just starts raping her repeatedly. That's like 90% of the plot. It's just damn unsettling. Unfriended, complete and utter waste of time. I kept thinking it would suddenly get better and surprise me, but it never did. Gummo. And then when I turned 21 a friend made me watch Pink Flamingos. I can't remember if I watched Eraserhead. Is that the one where they take a razor blade to an eyeball? Year 1. Trash comedy that wasted Jack Black and Michael Cera. The mall I watched it in had a free Jabberwockies performance in the atrium right around the time the movie was supposed to end. I should have just secured a good spot to watch that instead. When I stepped out of the theater, the halls were packed and I never got to see them. Paranormal Activity 1 and the Og Blair Witch Project gave me sleepless nights. Those two really messed me up, lol. The Fly. I watched it as a kid and recently thought, I should watch it again now. It probably wasn't that bad, it was.